Sup, no so. YouTube video only Seinfeld Chronicles, no holds barred, special edition. Joining me as always, Aaron. Hi.
Yo, were you playing the music?
I did for like 5 seconds.
Did you like my undulation?
Yeah, it was undulated well.
I did that for you.
And joining us, like he does ever since the SAST episode, is our buddy Big Keithy. Keithy, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, man.
Excellent.
We're loving Seinfeld. We already did the first two. We're on to episode 3. It's fun reliving it. It's been a while because I spent so much time of my life watching Seinfeld. It's absurd. Like after wrestling, Seinfeld is probably the thing I've seen the most of sports. Let's take sports out of it. Of scripted television, wrestling, and then Seinfeld. Because
not 90210?
No, so I've seen Seinfeld way more. Because when I got into Seinfeld, like I want to say it was the end of season 5.
Oh wow!
I was late. I was young, so it was late for me.
Yeah.
I heard about it in school a little bit, so I started watching. As soon as I got into it, I knew I liked it. So I think it was actually in season 6 when I really started watching it regularly, and I started recording them on tape. And then that summer before season 7, I recorded all the syndicated episodes. So when they started re-airing them as syndication, I recorded them. So by the time the series ended, I had 9 VHS tapes of Seinfeld, all commercials cut out. I was like meticulous with it. And so that, I mean, you didn't have a ton of stuff to like rewatch all the time. So I would throw those tapes on all times a day, at night, go to bed, Seinfeld. Then when it hit syndication, it was like the ultimate dinner show, ultimate going to bed show, because again, you just didn't have a ton of on-demand options. The DVDs came out, I bought all those, started watching those regularly. So I mean, I've seen Seinfeld forever, but I will say, since we did the written series, Aaron, which is kind of what we're basing this pod series after, we started that 2013, 14 in there,
8
right?
years ago.
Yeah, that's probably the last time I really did like a full series rewatch of it. And even on syndication, just between having kids and everything, like, you know, and all these stupid podcasts, I watch a lot of old wrestling, obviously. So like my just sitting watching a sitcom time has dwindled. And then The Office hit like Netflix and syndication, and that became kind of my go to bed, pass out show. So my whole point in saying that is I'm excited to do it again because it's been forever in my world, probably the longest I've ever gone in my life since I found Seinfeld that I haven't watched it regularly.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, I used to do exactly what you're talking about with The Simpsons. Like when that went in syndication, I recorded them all and played them at all times. And I don't know why I didn't do it with Seinfeld, because I always liked Seinfeld more. I guess I was just so into it at the time. Maybe subconsciously I didn't want to drive it into the ground, or, you know, I don't know. Like even now, it's never my first choice when I'm like, oh, I want to throw something on. I go more with Sunny or The Office or, but I don't know if those are better shows than Seinfeld.
Well, we redid our kitchen, and the way we did it, we took out a wall, and we actually put a TV. So now I'm in the kitchen, there's like a TV in there. So it's become more like dinner time. We used to never have anything on because we didn't really have like our neighborhood mouse. Like there's no TV in the kitchen area before, right? So like it was just like that whole time stretch I wouldn't have anything on. Now making dinner, eating dinner, I kind of have it on the background. So I've actually fallen back into having Seinfeld on now in that 5 to 7 range. And it's always on one of the channels. Like Freeform has it now, I think. Comedy Central has it. So it's on every night again, like between like 5 and 7. So I've kind of, that or The Office, I've been flipping between whatever episode I feel like watching.
It's insane that it's been in syndication for like almost 30 years. And I'm sure it still does monster ratings. It's still worth money.
It started syndication that year I started watching. So I think it was after season 6. It was a big deal. I remember they announced it, like it's going to be in syndication, because that's how I caught up on all the episodes. I'd never seen them because I started watching in season 6. And I think it was that summer was when they started putting them on. I don't know if it was like CW, or I don't know if it was even said WB. It was like something like that. It was some random, it wasn't TBS yet. TBS got it and they went wild with it when they got it in 2000s.
Not to sound like a grumpy old man, but like, you know, people who grew up with streaming services have no clue what it's like to not have access to all this stuff. I mean, even DVDs, like if you're like 25 years old, you had DVDs for like almost all of your consciousness.
Mhm.
You could buy these series and do this, but like we didn't have that at all. Like,
No. I mean, for comparison, the Seinfeld DVD, when did they come out? Like 03, 04? Like it
Yeah.
was somewhere in that they started doing those, you know? So, and even then they were expensive. They weren't cheap. I mean, like a TV show DVD set was like 30 something bucks at the time.
Yeah.
It was a decent purchase. Like I remember,
closer to 50 here, but yes.
yeah, right. I remember.
I mean, I spent many a dollar at Best Buy getting
Mhm.
Sopranos seasons and Lost seasons and, you know, Seinfeld. And then I remember I was so pissed when they released the final season of Seinfeld and then they released the whole set.
Right.
Oh, I know.
In like a refrigerator. And I was like, God damn it. I wouldn't have bought everything. I wouldn't have bought all those upcoming all the way up until, you know, the end.
It could be worse. You could be like The Simpsons, where like I don't know if you guys ever collected these, but like I think I want to say that around season 8 or 9 they changed the packaging.
Yeah.
And people
They
just
made them
lost
skinnier,
their
right?
shit.
They were like bigger and then skinnier or something.
Yeah,
right?
and they made them more character based and like it didn't match anymore. And
Yeah.
I have the first few of those. I have like all the King of Queens seasons. Because that was like, to me, that was the ultimate unwind show because it was so mindless, but it was funny enough. I used to put that on all the time to go to bed. Just like it was like one of my perfect go to bed shows with King of Queens.
So my my go-to is Parks and Rec. I mean, I think it's in my ranking, it's Seinfeld, then The Simpsons, and then Parks and Rec. And I always have this debate with people over The Office and Parks and Rec, and I think Parks and Rec is a better show. And the reason being is because there are no cringe moments in Parks and Rec. It is seriously like such a nice, happy, positive show, but there really isn't any cringy moments. Whereas like you can probably count on 5 hands the amount of cringe moments in the friggin' Office.
You don't feel Mark Brandanovich is a cringe casting moment?
No, you know why? And I'll tell you why. Because I think he worked for the first season and that he was supposed to kind of be the straight guy to everybody else. And then, yeah, of course, like the second season, he kind of like, it was weird. He had it was like kind of an odd, but it wasn't like a cringy odd. It certainly wasn't Scott's Tots or, you know, Andy
Right.
or Andy punch on the wall twice. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't any of those. And then he left. And then of course you get Adam Scott and Chris Traeger. I always call him Rob Lowe, Chris Traeger, but like you get Rob Lowe and Adam Scott, and the show is just like
I would say
better.
Parks and Rec is the greatest positive show of all time. I'll say that.
See, I would say if you're gonna say that, you got to throw Cheers in that conversation too. It's so optimistic. It's so about friends. It actually.
Yeah.
I'm with you, Keith. I'm with you that I think Parks and Rec is superior to The Office, not the British one, but the American one.
Yeah.
Because I think Parks and Rec just has so much more heart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's no one on The Office that's as good a character as Ron Swanson.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say maybe even Andy. Like, and not The Office has bad characters. I think they're great, but those two are just like on another level.
Yeah.
And I also live in a world where the whole like Office style where they're talking to the camera, they're not really talking to the camera. There's like a leak of some chemical or something in the building, and that they're all just crazy. And they're like, one time I wanted them to pan away and have Leslie B talking to nobody in the room. That's the world I live in.
Are you at all into What We Do in the Shadows?
Oh my God!
Yes, you have your nickname. Yeah.
Oh my God!
That's like the new version of that.
Oh, shut the fuck up! We're doing things for camera.
I don't give a fuck. I'll say his name. It's Mike.
All right, Seinfeld.
I'm just a regular human bartender.
We're on season 1, episode 3, entitled "The Robbery," June 7th, 1990.
What was happening that night?
The Bulls were taking on the Indiana Pacers.
No, June 90 would have been probably the NBA Finals.
Pistons?
90 would have been, was that Pistons Blazers? I think it was Pistons Blazers.
Yeah, it's Pistons Blazers.
Yeah. Okay.
What date did you say? What?
June 7th.
7th. Oh, no. Well, there's a game on the 6th and a game on the 9th.
There you go.
Is that the pop culture corner for this?
Well, no. If Chris Cole was here, we'd know the points everyone scored, the attendance. We don't need that.
Hold on,
all
here
right.
we go.
19.7 million viewers. So we had the normal episode 2 dip that you would expect to come from.
They saw Jerry's dad and we're like, fuck this.
We're out.
Fuck that guy.
Creeper. All right, why don't we just dive right in? We're already
I hope he
15
dies.
minutes of this episode. All right, we're queued up on Netflix if you want to join us in 3, 2, 1, go.
I hope he dies.
I do. He did.
I'll catch up to you guys.
Another outlandish quote.
My Wi-Fi went out before, so I gotta reboot my Netflix. 1 sec. Keep going. Just keep going. I'll catch up.
Yeah. Well, look, people are really into this set of his.
Yeah, they keep going back to the audience, and everybody's like laughing. And
what's on his tie? Are those amoebas?
How far are you guys in?
Yes.
I'm at.
Let me know when you get to
27.
Jerry and Elaine in the office. Then I'll hit play.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll skip the stand-up.
Yeah. You don't need to listen to the stand-up.
No one does.
I'll tell you right now. If somebody gives me the finger, I'm going to give them one back.
Do they call it stand-up because we're standing up?
I did see him though. He is really funny.
Oh, he's great.
He's so good. He's so
great.
good.
And my brother took me to I'm telling you for the last time tour. And
Don't forget to tell me when are you in the apartment yet?
Yeah, we're in the apartment right now. Yeah.
Now
I've got the Q-tips and I got the mini umbrella.
No, he's great live. I think I've seen him twice. You know, it was great. I went to they had a Stars of Curb Your Enthusiasm tour at Foxwoods. So it was Jeff Garlin, Susie Essman, she was awesome.
Had to be Susie Essman.
Oh, she was great. And then Richard Lewis was great. He closed. He was so good too.
Nice.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, it was a good show. The three of them.
I am not enjoying Jerry's turtleneck.
You bald asshole.
I hate turtlenecks. I cannot stand turtlenecks. I think they look stupid. They feel awful.
What's the reason? Is it to keep your neck warm? Is that the idea?
Yep.
Because I wore one as a kid when I played hockey.
Well, then they have I don't like the
makes
sweaters
sense.
that like come up and then fold over. Like it looks so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That always reminds me of just the thing a woman would wear. You know?
What movie is on his VCR? Can you tell?
It's for sure.
The Rose Parade. Is that a movie? Or is it actual Rose Parade from like
Rose
that year?
Parade? I'm watching the Rose Parade.
He's got baseball cards on his fridge too.
I remember the old thing they said in every episode there was a Superman. Like 99% of the time it was the friggin' Superman he had on his fridge. Like that doesn't count.
Funeral Parade of Roses is a 1969 Japanese drama art film.
I guess it's that. I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, looking at that must have been like a little hidden detail thing, but it definitely said Parade of Roses on the side of that VHS.
No, why? Go on, Keith.
No, I was going to say, I don't hate this episode as much as I think you guys do. But there are a lot of episodes in this first season that I do not really like.
Yeah, it's tough. They're really trying to get their footing. You can tell that they're now really establishing Elaine is going to be regularly part of this crew. Like she's...
Yeah. It's almost like she's second in the pecking order.
Well, it's funny because we talked a lot about how comfortable George was in that first episode, in our first episode, right? But like she is just equally as comfortable.
Oh, yeah.
Like of the characters, like she's just as developed as George right away.
Yeah.
Even with that shirt.
Why does she dress like a child?
It's like an old woman child.
Yeah.
It's like no between.
Now she's got the crux of this one is she's got a roommate that she hates, right? That's making all kinds of noise.
Yeah, so she wants to move, and the plan is George. So we know George is a real estate agent. He's trying to sell Jerry on a new apartment, and then Elaine wants to take this apartment.
Yeah,
that's the whole crux of this episode.
Right, he's gonna move. She's gonna come in here.
Yeah, because she hates her roommate in her apartment and wants to come take a look here. So they're trying to sell Jerry.
Later, where she gets a room upstairs and he has to weasel his way
out
of it.
That's a later episode. Yeah,
that's a later episode, right?
Yeah, with the landlords who are one of them.
Oh yes,
one of them is Otho from Beetlejuice.
So it's funny because like you think this is like a nice apartment. Jerry's here for the next 10 years or whatever. They're ripping it apart right now. The old radiator, the building's falling apart, this and that. But
even longer than 10 years because in the Curbed reunion, he's still in this apartment.
Yep.
I don't like George as a real estate agent.
No.
No.
I don't find he's lovable as a real estate agent. He's more of a skeevy character, I feel.
You don't think real estate agents are skeevy? I mean, there's a lot of movies I've seen where a real estate agent comes in with a person, no?
But that's what I'm saying. When he's the real estate agent, he comes off as skeevy, where I don't like him as skeevy. I like him as...
I think you're saying the opposite. You like him
Maybe I'm not
skeevy,
being
but he
clear.
wasn't skeevy.
No, I don't like him skeevy. I like him lovable.
Is this floor different? Or do we never see his floor?
I don't think we ever see his floor. Except, no, I don't think it's a different floor. No, this is, I think, the set for like the duration of the show.
Did I just never notice that the floor was like this brown, tan marble?
Yeah, it's got like white dots on it.
I gotta look back at the last episode. I don't think that was the floor last episode.
So he's mad right now because someone broke in and stole his TV and VCR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Kramer left the door open.
Because somebody left the door open. Who could it be?
The K-Man.
He left the fucking door open. I came in to get your spatula. Now, see, had he gone to Spatula City, he would have been fine.
That's true. So the stereo is gone too, I believe. They didn't take the baseball cards, though. No appreciation for the value there.
No. Mind you, I have a complete set of Upper Deck 1991 in a binder somewhere that I couldn't give away 6 years ago. So
he was watching Bold and the Beautiful and left the door open.
Bold and the Beautiful.
So Elaine, the toilet's backed up. So this is all like causing Jerry to break. He's eventually gonna cave now. I
can't take it anymore.
You think they took the movie too, The Parade of the Roses?
Oh, I mean, probably.
It's probably in the VCR.
It would have been funny if they just left
inadvertently.
They took it out and left it.
He's got the great joke later on where he goes, "Oh, I hate the idea of a burglar returning my phone calls." That's a great joke, actually.
Yeah, that's good.
And the police don't get it.
So he didn't get insurance on his stuff because he invested in the Clapco 2000 or whatever.
Yep.
This is like early great Jerry Kramer right here. He's like, there's one, there's only one caveat, basically. The door has to be closed for it to work.
Yeah. I posed a question to my friend the other day. I said, what's the best combination without Jerry? Is it Kramer and Elaine, Kramer and George, or George and Elaine? I said it's Kramer and Elaine.
That's my pick too.
I think Kramer and Elaine doing anything together is fantastic.
Because she clearly has so much contempt for him.
But is it because they don't do a lot? So it's not like overplayed. They're probably the least combo you get, right?
But they're the most dangerous. Like they're the ones that are kidnapping dogs and like they do the real nefarious shit, right? Like,
no, I feel like Elaine and Kramer do a lot of shit together. Yeah, they kidnap.
That's what I mean. Yeah,
the birds, I guess.
Yeah, they have the ones with like the one where she borrows his slicer and he comes over and they're feeding the cat and they blow out the electricity in the building.
I guess more than George and Elaine. Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, George and Elaine don't really have many interactions together, I don't think.
I think it's because you think of that one episode where they go to the I think it's like season 7 or whatever, or 6, where they go shopping.
Yeah.
And she's like, why don't the two of us just get lunch? She's like, just us? Like, because like they almost were nodding to the fact that they're never together. So maybe it ramps up from there and they do a bunch after that, I guess.
It's so funny.
I bet they're not together barely at all until season like 6 or 7 is my guess.
It's Bennett, right? It's Bennis, you jackass. Bennis.
That's great. It's an all-timer.
Yeah.
She also just dropped an Ethel Merman reference, which I appreciate.
George's got the keys. They're going to check out the apartment.
Let's go check out this apartment. I also don't know why at the end of the episode they're at a party at that apartment. Like, it seems very odd. But
someone they know buys it, right? So it's like a housewarming.
Yeah, I wouldn't go. Would you go? I wouldn't go.
Well, it depends how much you care about the person
or the apartment.
Man,
I don't care enough.
I don't remember why he doesn't get it. Does he just give it up? Or does someone else like pay more? Like,
no,
why?
it's. I think it ends up being that George wants it now, and Jerry's like, "Well, why do you need it? You have a nice apartment." And he's like, "No, I want a better one. I want a wood guy."
Tell a sad story to get it.
Well, because in this too, George is kind of still. He's almost like well off. They're almost all kind of well off, and then it like shifts a little bit, and George is a little bit more down on his luck, right, as it goes.
Yeah.
But...
Is that around the point where he starts living with his parents, or
because he slips the guy the Mickey, he loses his job,
right,
and then he's gonna move back in with his parents.
That's right. Yeah, because I feel like here it's like he's like doing okay because if he's competing with Jerry for the apartment, like we know Jerry's got some money, so still a
I
lot of
love
conflict
Jerry
here.
doing Batman jokes, but clearly not knowing what the Penguin looks like.
Right? Yeah.
He doesn't dress like a penguin. He's just
looks
like
like
a
a
fat
penguin.
guy in a suit. Like,
All right. So do you like this apartment better than Jerry's?
Oh yeah,
Got the walkout.
sure.
I will say though, if you've just been robbed, you're not moving into this apartment with
I
that
was just thinking
giant
the same
window.
thing.
Like,
The big open window right on the ground floor. That's like right
Yeah.
for a break-in right there.
Yeah.
And like, where in New York is this apartment? Like, there's grass and trees and shit over there.
in the middle of Central Park.
Yeah, I mean, seriously.
What do you tip a wood guy? Best line.
There's a garden, Jerry.
It's just such a Jerry thing to be concerned about. Like, oh, there's a fireplace. Oh, I gotta tip the wood guy. What do you tip a wood guy? Like, that's his concern. Is like,
Yeah.
what's he gonna tip the guy that brings the wood for the fire? You
I love that it seems to never occur to him to like just garden it yourself if you want it. Like,
Well, that too. They deliver the coal. Probably the same guy as the wood.
Mm-hmm.
They gotta tip him. That's the best part of this episode right there. Is that whole spiel about tipping.
I mean, they're looking at one room, and she's like, "This place is amazing. It's one room."
Well, it's just I don't think you have many places like that. Maybe in New York City.
maybe it's the
Yeah.
only room. Maybe
Yeah.
there's just one.
No, they
room.
said it's a 2-bedroom apartment. George said it before. It is a nice place,
Yeah,
and
I
it
like
would have got him away from Kramer.
I like she's all pissy.
Yeah, and like all he did was close the closet door on her. It's not like
It's
he
clearly
kicked her
like
in the
messing
chest or
around.
something.
I think she was a fake pissy
Yeah.
though.
I don't understand. This is the thing about this, and I can agree with you guys that this being a very weak episode, it always bothered me like George's storyline in this, his little arc,
Yeah.
where he's like now he's pissy about wanting the apartment, like he's in
Well,
there.
I
like,
think it's trying to establish George as being like a wishy-washy, easily convinced person. Like he hated it, but now someone else likes it and he wants it, so he's like a little bit jealous. And
yeah,
that's it. Jerry's moving. Elaine's moving. We're all moving. It looks like central air in this place too, right? That vent,
Mm,
perhaps.
yeah.
So are these George's real estate clothes?
Well, no, man. Maybe he's just on the weekend and he had
Because it's like he's like the worst dressed real estate agent I've ever seen.
We had the little paper I had on the last one.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he is with his best friend, and
Yeah.
they're looking at an apartment he clearly has been struggling to sell for such a great place.
So I mean, look, I think early on these episodes are a little weak, but I think it was just to establish their goal and premise, the show about nothing.
Yeah,
Right. So it's just everyday shit you go through with your friends. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And like these observations about life, right? And that was the goal, right? It was okay. What happens when one friend wants to move apartments? You got a friend that's a real estate agent, and the other one wants to move to. Like,
Yeah.
right? Like that's all it is. It's just these simple
yeah.
stories of life.
This negotiation for the couch is like Jerry wants $150 and Elaine counters with 20. He should have thrown her out of the house immediately.
It's like Rick at Pawn Stars. Best I can offer you is $20. I'm sorry. Look, I got to make money on this too.
Yeah, but it's worth $1,000.
Well, he's getting $50 for it now.
I got to repackage it and put it back up on the shelf. I mean, it's gonna take me a while to find somebody.
And it's hard to move. I mean, we know that because it's got the pullout. I'm really curious about this floor. I feel like that's not the floor.
Well, what do you think? What do you think?
I don't know. I feel like it
happened
just
then?
really jumped
What's your
out to me,
theory on
right?
what's
It
happening
just
here?
really jumped out to me for some reason in a way I've never noticed. So it makes it feel like it's different.
So you think after 3 episodes they changed the floor?
I don't know.
Oh,
Maybe.
that's
I don't
gonna be
know.
an
For some
ongoing
reason, it
trend.
just looked weird to me. It just looked weird to me. I
I
don't know what I
You
thought
just-
it was. Wood,
I
maybe?
feel like it opened up a whole new thing for you with this show. Like you've watched it countless times.
I'm going to look
you
at a
taped
later
them.
episode. And try
I've
to
never
figure it out.
noticed this floor before. Look at the one where he's Art Vandelay on the floor, Vandelay Industries.
Right.
Did you
I
think
thought it was
there
wood
was
because
no
doesn't
floor?
Kramer want to do levels? Like, isn't it wood?
Yeah, it is wood. I think it is wood. I think you're just getting
No, this is different. I'm sending you
like
a
this is
picture.
like linoleum. You thinking?
Yeah, it's different. This is like marble or some shit. But if you look at it, it's like I'm trying to find an episode though. No,
But
I
it's
love it.
possible that that like the floors in the apartment building could be different materials.
Well,
Because
hang on.
that
But
shit
now-
kind of happens all the time.
I can't tell if these pictures are from the show or from like pop-up shit that they do, like recreations. All right, here we go. Here's this one. No, it's wood. Hang on. As Mr. Woodchuck would say, it's wood. What? All right, I just sent it to you in our chat. Pull that picture up. That is different floor. Or maybe not. I don't know. Now I'm looking at it.
Yeah, I think it's, you know what it is? I think it's just
An illusion.
no, I think it's just maybe the wood, maybe it's like a not polished wood or something
Yeah.
at this point. Like
The wood's not as defined.
they're reusing like an old set from something else and they hadn't had a chance to repolish it.
It's also entirely possible that like as the show went on, like they're like, hey, we have money now.
All right, we get
Let's
better
upgrade this
hardwoods
floor.
in. Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't look as defined.
It is funny that Jerry never moved. Like George had a couple of different apartments, I think. We only saw the one that he lived in with Susan. Elaine had a different couple of apartments.
Kramer didn't move either.
Kramer never moved either.
Well, Kramer does move to California. If that counts.
We saw his apartment in
In
California.
the new music video.
The
where he's pulling his hair.
All right, so now they're playing games for this apartment. They flipped a coin, but George didn't call no interference and hit the counter, so that's thrown out. And now they're doing rocks, paper, scissors, or are they shooting?
They're doing Rochambeauing.
Yeah, I love George's reaction after
He walks away. All right,
Takes
all
his
right.
glasses off.
He's
too.
gonna reset. He's gonna reset.
Right,
He
right.
lost 2 right away. Mine. That's it. Jerry wins.
Yep.
3-1.
And yet he feels like an asshole.
Do you think Elaine unraveling that tape measure was a nod to the metaphorical dick measuring contest that was happening?
Why didn't they just get the apartment together? It's 2-bedroom.
Well, they're not going to live together.
Why not?
I mean, I think it would have been funny, you know, when George lost his job and Jerry's like, well, you got to pay me rent.
Kramer said he thinks Jerry's stuff is with the Englishman who lives down the hall.
Oh.
Shady Englishman. Very Kramer explanation here. I know about the stuff.
He's trying to feel out this Englishman down the bed.
Mm-hmm. Well,
When does Newman show up?
The first episode with Newman is the pig episode, I think.
The pig man or the pig?
Yeah, the pig man, because I think he's trying to commit suicide in that episode.
Right. Yeah.
Newman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Newman's suicidal in the first one.
And then originally the original voice was Larry David. And then when they went back for syndication, they recut it with Wayne Knight.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're 100% right. Yeah.
Because doesn't he? He tells him to jump and he jumps, right? And he lands on the car and then
the
car
pig
gets
man
destroyed?
jumps. The pig man
that's
jumps
right.
and lands in the car. And because I think George parks it out front of Jerry's apartment, and I think Newman does jump and he lands on the car and destroys it.
Yeah, because Kramer says just jump already because he's like so tired of hearing him threaten to kill himself.
Yeah. And then actually Wayne Knight, I think maybe is Wayne Knight's first episode when he sells the helmet to Kramer and then gets the
For Crazy Joe Davola?
yeah,
To protect him?
I think that might be that when because then he gets the speeding ticket for Kramer's faulty
radar
detector. Yeah.
Oh, the sweater on George.
The sweater. Like, did we all have a visceral reaction to that sweater?
So
it's
awful.
got like the San Diego Padres collar.
So bad.
That's the worst piece of clothing on the show until the puffy shirt.
It's bad. I've never been a sweater over a button down. Like there are people at work that'll do that, like the button down. I'm like, are you so? I would feel so wrapped and like unable to move with a button down collared shirt and then a sweater over it.
Yeah.
I hate wearing button down shirts.
Yeah.
What,
No,
what are you, a college professor?
I've been ruined by this pandemic. Like I never dress up anymore. Like I hate.
Oh God, yeah.
I hate wearing anything that's not like sweatpants or shorts. like jeans to me. When I have jeans on, my kids are like, "Why are you dressed up? Like where are you going?"
Isn't it the worst when you have to put jeans on and you're like, oh, fungal.
Dude, I wore a pocket T-shirt on a call the other day for and my kids were like, "Why are you dressed up?" A pocket tee. I'm like, that's how low I've gotten that a pocket tee is considered like dressy.
So good.
Like, why do you have a suit on? I'm like, it's not a suit.
I don't even like costumes in shows. Like, can I not just play Macbeth in my sneakers? Like, no one will look.
I just want to wear like sweat shorts. That's all I wear. That's all I wear now. I'm like Peter Griffin. I have like 9 of the same sweat shorts. I have some different colors, but I love them so much. I've literally bought all the colors they make, and I have two of them. So I legit have like 10 pairs of sweat shorts.
I'm gonna show you guys these things. These are my camo like pajama pants, and I wear them all the time. And when I go out to play cards, my friends are like, "There they are. There's those fucking camo pants." I go, eat a dick, guys. I don't want to get dressed. What am I? I'm coming to play cigars. I'm coming to play cards at a cigar shop.
So we got sidetracked at the clothing talk, but so what happened? Did any of us notice what happened? How they ended up losing this department, or no?
I think Jerry was just like, he didn't want to hurt George's feelings.
All right.
And then George didn't want to hurt his feelings. And then I think somebody swooped in and bought it out from underneath them.
Right. And obviously someone they know.
Mm-hmm.
He's wearing a sweater just like George, the guy who bought it.
Is that Colin mockery? Or...
No, it's not. Definitely not.
Now, is George just there because he's the real estate agent who closed the deal?
Yeah, I can't tell if that or if they know them. I don't know.
Because who goes to a stranger's, like, it's a stranger's housewarming party.
Right. It's weird. Yeah. It must be something like that where she's like, please come. And because she said these are the guys who got me the apartment.
Please come and bring your friends.
Yeah. We're going to lust after the apartment.
We're barbecuing every night.
I'm good. Thank you.
Oh, that's great too. Of course, they get the hot neighbor that they could have been neighbors with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And she's like a masseuse. Yep, she's a bat. Yeah, she's a masseuse. She could have rubbed Jerry's ass every night.
We know Jerry loves massages. That's the whole episode.
Mm-hmm.
Stifler's mom.
George too. George loves them too.
Yep. Really rubbing it in. I think this is like some of the first legit kind of funny stuff. Like the first, not funny, but like that these are gonna be sad sacks, right? Like it's kind of established here that
they're losers.
They're gonna screw a lot of stuff up.
Yeah.
I love how every line out of her mouth is like she's in a porno.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, we live next to the park.
We're starting. Is this the first of Elaine's like flowery, like skirts too?
Yeah.
Oh, here you go. This guy's moving. They're all in.
Oh,
right.
So I wonder if that
terrible last line.
Maybe
I know, but I feel like that's the first decent ending because at least played into the story a little bit, and like it wrapped the story. I should say. Whereas the last 2 episodes, I feel like we didn't get a wrap. Anyway,
and that's a wrap.
All right, let's look at our awards here to wrap this up. Best character. Well, actually, let's do our fun facts real quick. So we had a key character debut. Actually, that was the debut of Monk's Coffee Shop. We didn't mention that, but that was the first time they were monks.
Oh yeah, okay.
First time we learned that Jerry's kind of a neat freak. We've established Jerry's financial success for the first time. The line you said, Keithy, I hate the idea of someone out there returning my calls. What do you tip a wood guy? Jerry's apartment, of course, has been really transformed now into the format we know. And he also has a Yankees jacket with a Mets hat in his apartment. So a little.
Are you allowed as a Mets fan to also, as a Yankees fan to actually like the Mets?
So I've actually had this argument quite a bit because I've lived in both Rhode Island and then Southern Connecticut. I find if you are from New York or like South Connecticut, Yankees Mets is the big rival. Whereas where I'm from, it's like Yankees Red Sox is like it. Like I never gave a shit about the Mets growing up until I met a bunch of Mets fans, and now I like to root against them to troll them. But like when I lived in Connecticut, I couldn't believe how the Yankee fans hated the Mets fans. I'm like, they still hate the Red Sox, but they really hated the Mets. To me, like I never gave a shit. I'm like, what do I care? Like,
it's like here it's the Montreal Canadiens and the Toronto Maple Leafs that and Boston too, but they really hate the Leafs, and it's like, but they haven't won in 60 years. Like they're sad. They're not. There's nothing wrong with them.
But I think it's because at least Toronto's at least competitive, Whereas like the Mets usually blow it all the time.
Well, that's the thing. Like
yeah.
Yankees are big brother, so to me it was always like, why do you give a shit? Like
Yeah.
it's like the Mets. Now as a Jets fan, I kind of root against the Giants usually because like their fans are the asshole big brothers to like Jets fans, like they act all high and mighty. So for that, like I root more. I have more of a little bit of a rivalry with the Giants than like as Mets. With the Yankees Mets, the Yankees are the Giants, where you look down on the Mets fans.
I'm always curious how how that allegiance works in New York and LA, where like, how do you end up with one and not the other? It's like, because they have 2 hockey teams, 2 baseball teams, 2 football
Family,
teams,
I
right?
guess. I mean, it's
And
usually
basketball.
Giants. It's usually Yankees, Giants, Rangers,
Yeah.
Jets, Mets, Nets. I guess, like and Islanders. Like that's usually, and Knicks is on the other side. That's usually how it goes. Yankees, Knicks, Giants, Rangers, Mets, Jets.
Yeah, because the Rangers and the Yankees are like, Manhattan. I know it's the Bronx, but it's like Manhattan, and then you have everything's Long Island. So
the Jets were like Long Island originally, right, or whatever. So,
I don't know. They suck in my opinion. So, two piece of shit teams.
All right, best character. My original article, I went Jerry. I thought he had the more consistent lines in this one with the wood guy, with the return of my calls. I also thought he wasn't as neurotic. He almost seemed a little cooler in this one. Like he was more laid back and not as worked up. Like he's in there cracking jokes in the apartment while George and Elaine are fretting. So I thought he actually kind of played the cool one in this episode, and it felt a little bit more at ease.
I agree. It's probably the first episode where, because I think the thing that progressed throughout the whole show is that Jerry's the straight man to these 3 maniacs. And that's the thing that always made it funny, because he's the comedian and he's trying to do the least funny shit on the show. And that's this is kind of like the first time of that. So yeah, I'd agree.
My only contention with that is I would say he's not a good enough actor yet to be the straight man. Not that he can't do it, but the show will not go to the next level until he improves.
Yeah.
Because the straight man
Elaine's a straight man right now. It's Elaine in these early ones. Like she's presented as most grounded, a little bit classy. She's from money. You know what I mean? Like that's that. Like I think she's presented as the straight person.
Like compare what Jerry does in this episode versus what what's his name, Jason Bateman does in the episodes of Arrested Development.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like Jason Bateman is like a brilliant straight man, but he also comes to the show with like 20 years of television experience, right?
Yeah.
Whereas Seinfeld's just stepping off a comedy stage. So I'm not holding it against him. I just think he's there. And that's why for this episode, my favorite character is Elaine. I think she's really on point. I love her finagling her way in. I love that she's just trying to get that apartment. Like, it doesn't look like she really cares if Jerry is going to move or not. Like, he's going to like the new place. She's just going to assure him that, like, he's going to get the wood guy. He's going to get whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
The wood
All right.
guy.
Best storyline, I think, there's only really one. Well, I guess there's Elaine trying to escape, but then there's also the apartment stuff. I like the apartment.
Or maybe Kramer trying to find out who stole
Kramer
all
trying
the
to
shit.
track down the stuff. Yeah.
It's dropped, though.
It does get dropped.
Yeah. I'm curious when we get a Kramer storyline. Like, how far in is he? Like, because right now he's just been like one scene and done for the most part in all these.
Yeah.
Maybe 2.
Yeah.
But when do we actually get like a B story with him driving it, you know?
Well, they haven't figured out what to do with him yet because they're not leaning into any of his comedic strengths.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
Like, he's not doing anything physical, and he's like the most gifted physical comedian I've ever seen.
Right. There's no relationship. So final grade, I went 3 out of 10 last time. I liked it a little better this time. Like, I think it's on par at least with that second episode. So I'd probably go 4.
I don't know. I really didn't like it. I just think that like it's not clicking yet. And if it's not clicking, the writing needs to kind of come up and support it a bit more. And it's not there yet. So to me, it's the worst episode we've seen so far. Again, it's not terrible, but it's nowhere near up to par for me.
Out of 10, wow.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably go 3 or 4 out of 10. Like I said, the one thing that bothered me was I didn't like that all of a sudden out of nowhere George just decides he wants his apartment and then he ruins it for Jerry.
Yeah.
Right.
And then in turn ruins it for Elaine. So
yeah, like the thing I think that later will make Seinfeld from like a very good show to an all-time great show is the way they're able to weave everything together so
Mhm.
that it all comes back at the end. And they
Yeah.
don't have it yet, and that's okay. But that like if this was 6 years later, we'd have a conclusion to the Kramer stuff. George's motivations would be clear. Everything would just kind of click that little bit.
Well, and they'd be gladly fighting each other for the apartment. Whereas here, they're still presented as friends, and you're wondering why they kind of screwing each other.
Mm.
Whereas, like later, you'd almost expect them to try and screw each other over to get the apartment. Like that would be, they'd be trying to find ways to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they'd be finding allies against the others.
Right. Yeah. All right. Well, look, we're going to continue our journey. We'll be back with episode 4 soon. So stay tuned to northsouthconnection.com. All the audio, all of our video content is posted there. Subscribe on YouTube. That's where these will be exclusive to. And also subscribe on any podcatcher app. Just get all the audio. So everything's available to you right here from the North South Connection. We're all over social media. Just at I always forget what it is. No so pod network on Twitter. So check that out. Till then, we're out. Take care.